Can you make that full screen? Is it not doable?
Oh,
Keep going up
that's
here.
great. Super.
Yay. Where'd he go? It's not.
Oh,
not.
I'm sorry. Oh, it's Mark, sorry. When it was right.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Kathy, we're on? Okay. Good evening. Welcome to the Wednesday, December 10th, 2025 Public Site and Building Commission meeting. We're going to call to order. If everybody can please stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, according to our agenda, the next item is public input, and nobody's here, all right? No additional correspondence that we have. So Kathy made up the 2026 meeting schedule. It was sent out, I think, I've made copies, everybody. Nancy, go ahead, Nancy.
Yeah, so I think March dates are not correct, so if we're gonna approve it, I'll make a motion that we approve the 2026 meeting schedule with the March dates updated to March 11th and
I
March
have,
25.
I have the right.
Okay. I don't know how that, because I looked and I was like,
Yeah,
it's
no,
not
I
even
have the,
close.
I saw it afterwards, so. I
Okay.
have it.
All right, so Kathy has the correct dates.
So then
Can we,
For
can we read
March.
the dates or no? Does that make sense?
it's
Or does it-
March 11th and March 25th.
Okay.
It's down as the 8th and the 27th, so you can just write that down.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the updated meeting schedule that
It's
Kathy.
not updated,
Oh, it's
because I'm
not?
gonna file the correct one, so you don't need to say.
Okay.
So I'll say, correct, we'll approve the 2026 meeting schedule as corrected by Kathy when she files it. How's that? No? Yes?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Yes, thank you. All right, the next item is the approval of the meeting minutes from the last meeting, which was on November 12th. Kathy sent them out. Let me just think. We should also note that we will not have a meeting. This is the only meeting for the month unless we have to have a special meeting. So everybody should be aware of that. And also in the last minutes, if you noticed, we had a change order for that wiring of that heater in that stairway. The cover sheet was not 100%. It wasn't the correct breakdown. We did pass it to the change order. We did approve that, contingent on them changing and showing the total budget amounts and the and they did do that the next day. I did then had it down to Dan Carter. He signed it and went to the clerk. So I have it here. You can just pass it around. You can see that it was signed. You want to pass it?
Okay, I mean, I'm good.
Oh, you're good?
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine because it's,
Okay.
Yep.
So that's all done. So that change order is going through. I don't know exactly when they're going to be doing that.
did it get uploaded to the shared drive?
We did that.
Okay.
Supposedly, Mark did that.
Okay.
Dupre, I will check on that.
Make a motion to approve meeting.
Okay.
Second?
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed. Thank you. The next item is new business, but I'm going to table that until the end of the meeting because I don't want to keep everybody on. It's just talking about assignments if we wish to do that. So let's put that towards the end so that we don't
Sure, that's good.
hold them up. Okay, so the next one is old business. So the Bethel High School HVAC project that's going on. a lot has happened this past week or so. Mark, do you want to start on that?
Mark, we
Oh.
lost Mark.
I just looked up.
Come on back, Mark. See if we can find him and see if he's getting back on. Here it comes. Have him or no?
Yeah,
Yeah, see, yeah, that's him.
up top.
So on the bottom, well, right up at the top, yeah, and then over there on the bottom. Good. Yay, he's back.
Sorry, I lost my connection there for a second.
Okay, so. What's up, Ray?
Yeah, okay, so Mark, we're gonna talk about the HVAC project. Maybe you wanna, if you have a punch list, we can go over. I know that
Sure.
John is here and a few others and Tyler, so maybe you want to start with that walk around on last Thursday that we were there.
Sure, we had a walk around, kind of more than anything to bring me up to speed after, because Rick retired last week. So I wanted to make sure I was up to speed with where the project was and all the existing conditions that were there. And Tyler and Chris and Jason and John and Roger, you were there. It was great to spend a little time with you guys and actually have Jason from Save More be there as well. So we kind of ran down all of the issues and we found a couple of things that I think might be beneficial for us, and I'll talk about them in a minute. But it was really a nice meeting. We saw what was done, what wasn't done, and what we can expect from, or at least I got away from it, what we can expect from Save More to finish this project out by the end of this month. And there's still a couple of things that are hanging out there that I'll talk about in a minute. But I did put together a task list. It's not really a punch list because Kohler Ronan needs to do the punch list. They are the engineers of record, so they definitely need to go out and do that. And I know, John, you were out there yesterday evening, and one of the items on our list we can talk about in a minute. But the thing that the building committee has in front of them now is a change order for the electrical line tracing. And we need to get that approved. And we put that together with the thought that, because we understand there is a financial limit as to what we could approve without having to go out to additional challenges and additional things that we need to do. And we don't really have the time for it. So our plan was to ask Save More's and their electrical company, to their electrical sub, I should say, to go out and to work under a not to exceed number with what we call time and materials work schedule, which means their contractors, their workmen are out there and they are recording the time that they are dedicating to this change order. And the change order is really to trace back and to discover where the lines are that are missing or disconnected or unserviceable at this time to rooftop units that have been replaced and repaired, because the power does not run where it's supposed to run and it's not connected. So there's some problems there that they need to do. And that's why we're asking for approval of the change order, especially on a time and material basis. So we know precisely how many hours they put in on it. We're just not giving them a carte blanche change order for $10,000. It's a change order for less than $10,000, and it's based on their time and their materials. They will have to provide us with a breakdown of the time and the materials that were spent on that. Hopefully, and I'll get into this in another minute as well, hopefully that will keep the cost to a minimum and we won't have to exceed that or come back or request a special meeting because they exceeded their hours. I don't expect it to take that long. One of the things we did discover, and Tyler or John, you guys can jump in anytime, we did discover another control room which had, which may have been kind of a left aside from one of the prior projects that got started and stopped and never progressed. And we found that there are control panels in this room that are labeled for the rooftop exhaust fans that we can't find why they're not running or where the power is, I should say. So we're hoping that we just discovered that, and that is all it will take for them to trace it. But again, Tyler, correct me if I'm wrong, drawings from old projects may have been, incomplete or not completed before the work was either done or not done, or I'm not sure the whole history of the project, but Chris,
Yeah, so
the
Mark,
principal, was talking about that as well. So go ahead, Tyler.
just to step in and help finish the thought there and give you a lot of input where potentially you're lacking. Over the years when there's been different projects, not all of them were fully completed before the projects were terminated. At least one of the projects changed vendors mid-flight of the project. So we have drawings from several different iterations of renovation on the high school that reflect different exhaust fan numbers. We found a motor control center in one of the current history classroom closets that appears to be labeled for the exhaust fans that we don't know where they're powered from currently, but that might be old labeling from before the exhaust fan numbering sequence had changed. So it's a starting point for Mazzati Electric to look into, but it might not be a slam dunk. We are fingers crossed that it is. That would make things a lot easier, but just so everybody's on the same page, the numbers match the exhaust fans we're currently looking for, but it could be old numbering prior to the most recent iteration of exhaust fan numbering on the roof. That said, Jason is as confident as I think we can take him to be, given the communication issues we've had on this project, that they will be able to trace that under the allotment that we are providing them in the change order. Something we have not discussed yet, but this seems like the appropriate time for it, is if they're not able to identify the circuits that feed those exhaust fans within that $10,000 scope, the hope obviously was that they were able to find the feeds and give us some additional circuit tracing. I think if they're not able to within that scope, given the time crunch on this project, I think the proper path forward would be not extend any additional change orders for circuit tracing and look towards a change order for refeeding of those exhaust fans from an alternate source.
And the thought behind that is we're concerned, and Tyler, again, we're concerned that there may be wires up in the spaces, the interstitial spaces above the ceiling that are not labeled and not terminated properly. So we really do want to make sure that we've got the right approach to this, and we do not want to hook up to what we think is the right wire and find that it too has been cut somewhere along the line, and that'll just cause us a lot more effort to try and go in and correct that. So first step obviously is to check that motor control room, those panels that are there, see if they can be powered properly, and follow them up and trace them up to the rooftop units and see if we get lucky. If we don't get lucky, then we got to do a lot more tracing work for a while, and then eventually, I agree with Tyler completely. We should just run new electrical. John Mangelli, what do you think about that?
I totally agree with Tyler's recommendation. One of the major focuses of this tracing that Save More does and their electrical sub does, in my opinion, should be safety focused. So even if they don't find the exact power source, whatever conduits they do trace out, at least they can narrow down and either let us know if they find an unsafe condition, or narrow down and say everything they did find is safe. They just can't figure out, to a certain point, they just can't figure out where it's connected to. So I would just recommend that with the next conversation we have with Jason, keep the tracing safety focus as not only just project focused, so that we get at least some kind of value out of it, regardless of the results of where the power source comes from. But totally agree with Tyler. It's the proper thing to do is to activate these fans. They serve bathrooms or storage rooms or areas that need exhaust for heat gain. They have a purpose. So the right thing to do is to power them and exhaust those spaces.
So is the circuit tracing mostly because of getting power to these exhaust fans?
They are inactive currently, but they're exhaust fans that, based on our studies of the drawing, should be active.
Okay,
So you can't have bathrooms without exhaust, things like that.
Okay, so the fans, they don't, it's not like you disconnected something, they were not working before this project started.
Correct.
And now that you start, let's figure out to get these things working now that we're up there and trying to figure it out.
Right. The reason why they were deactivated is unknown, especially at the time of design. It could have been just a broken motor. But now it's appearing like it's the power is cut somewhere. Not, it could be physically cut. It could be a breaker off. We don't know. So that's what the tracing comes in.
and there's not like old as-bills that can help or,
That's a big problem is there's been at least roughly 12 renovations over the years, and there's just not a organized, accurate set of historic documentation, unfortunately.
I guess it's just, it makes sense. It's in this, is this technically within the scope though, if those fans were functioning before, now you're trying to hook them up? I don't know how that.
Well, this was all part of the change order, right? The $120,000. In that change order, there was no verifying in field or circuit tracing or, confirming that there was actually power.
No, there was scope cover to disconnect and reconnect power for the new fans. And even like the circuit tracing, I don't know how you would exactly put an accurate value to that during bid time. It's completely unknown.
So to the new fans or the fans that are there, I guess?
The fans that are there are being replaced in kind with brand new fans.
Okay. Yeah.
So there was a cord attached to the old fan, and when they went to hook it up, there was no power.
Correct.
okay, yeah, right.
So the focus is try to get power to especially all the new equipment and then the secondary also. Correct? Yeah, so that's the focus is to get.
But if that was already in the change order, then I don't understand you said within that 120,000, it was for doing that, right?
This is Jen. The original change order did not include this type of electrical services to do the circuit tracing. The original change order assumed that they would just hook up the fans with the existing wiring, and that's not working, which is why we need to do this additional change order.
Yes,
Right, and there was 10 fans changed, and 6 of them do not have power, from my understanding.
I heard 5, but it could be 6.
Yeah, the change order language says 6, circuit trace 6 existing exhaust fan feeds.
So then 6 fans never worked then?
Or were cut at some point.
Yeah.
but if they're replaced,
They might have been turned off because the motor's
Yeah.
real good.
Yeah,
They still
it
have power
could
to
be-
but
yeah.
We don't know where.
We just don't know where they took the power.
right. So now another question, even though we haven't made a motion to approve or whatever. So would this be part of what's reimbursable if the paperwork, et cetera,
Not to exceed.
is done within the appropriate period of time? Jen, I guess.
Yes, this does look like it's reimbursable, right? This is electrical work that's needed to get these fans working, which are part of the approved scope.
Right, but doesn't the change order have to be filed or something within a certain period of time in order to fall under the reimbursable?
Yes, we need to move.
Yeah,
It does. It does.
right. But it's like some period of time, we still have some time. Well, we can't wait.
No,
Well,
we're
we need
going
to
to run
finish.
out of time. I mean, I'm hoping you guys can vote on this tonight.
Jennifer, if for some reason they do not find the circuits, within the $9,983, what, this came up in yesterday's meeting, is the limit on the $10,000 change order account?
No, it's a state.
It's a state statute because of the grant process?
Yeah, so one of the grant rules we need to comply with is that for anything over $10,000, we are supposed to go out to bid. So if we don't go out to bid, it jeopardizes our ability to get the cost reimbursement for that particular piece of, for that change order.
So if we go over the 10,000 on this initial change order, do we create another change order?
I mean, that's something we would have to talk about. I mean, that's an option. And then Tyler might want to jump in with a backup plan if this doesn't do the trick in terms of getting the fans online.
Yeah, what's the cost to rewire, I guess?
Sorry, what was that?
You mentioned earlier possibly having to rewire I guess what's the cost of that?
We don't have that cost yet, but that would be the backup plan. If the circuit tracing is unsuccessful, that would be my recommendation for the backup plan. We certainly could discuss having another change order to continue circuit tracing, but giving timing, my recommendation would be to abandon the idea of circuit tracing and locating existing circuits that are supposed to feed those fans and just focusing on locating where we can feed them from and rewiring with new. But we have not gotten any kind of estimate on that cost yet. The focus up to this point has been on the change order for circuit tracing.
Okay. And right now, since this is needed, is Save More not doing any work, or are they still doing other things and waiting on this?
They have lots of things to do. I have a list of tasks that I shared with Roger and Tom. So I don't know if they shared it with you, but there's a number of things they still need to do.
Yeah, we can talk about that then, I guess.
So I guess once they trace the wires though, everything goes okay. Is it like, how long does it take to connection? It take long to connect the fans though, right? It's not gonna be, well, the fan's already there.
I just got one quick question, just
Yeah, the fans are installed.
back and forth. So best case scenario, they trace it out, the breakers in this closet that were found, they flip those, everything turns on and works. These fans are already wired into the existing wiring. They crank on, that's best case scenario, in and out. Worst case, somebody cut a wire in a crawl space or up in the ceilings. We can't find it. We have to rewire, right? I mean,
Correct.
they're on the same page. That's all we need to focus on, right? That's what the goal of the wire tracing is, to find the breakers, hopefully. And if not, we're rewiring this and we're start from scratch with the electrical to these.
And that'll be another change order.
Yeah, that'll be another change order, but that's the simple cut and dry look at it, right? Instead of going back and forth and
Yep.
everybody. Okay,
Correct.
Because in the change order, he has, line items for other panels. It'll be known that the priority is these fans, and we're not gonna be working on any other panels or any other work until these fans are powered.
Yes, that's been discussed with Save More already in
Okay.
advance of the commission's approval of anything.
So, but I mean, if they find other issues within the panel and something else, then they would work on that separately.
That's,
Correct.
Outside of the project.
Well, there was a conversation about doing circuit tracing on multiple panels,
Okay.
because apparently the electrical in the high school is just.
But again, outside of this project,
Well,
we don't,
Yeah.
yeah,
These fans.
could be.
We don't know because they don't know where
Until
the
you trace
power's
the
coming
wires,
from.
yeah, until you
Right.
trace it, yeah.
And when we walked around, there's multiple electrical rooms and
Yeah.
closets and panels.
Added on multiple times.
Yeah, so
What's in the contingency, I guess? What's left in that?
it's 100,000 plus in contingency. Because it was around 102 and then we had that credit
Okay, yeah.
and then we approved that other thing. So we're back down around
Around
100,000, I think. So I think we should be, okay with this change order.
Do we want to vote it now or? is
No,
it-
Well, as of
Make
November,
a
that's the last
motion.
time this was like.
Just to make a motion first on that.
Yeah, let's just go.
Okay. All right, so if there's no other questions, Tom, do you want to make a motion on this or?
Yeah, I mean,
And then we can discuss.
yes, I'll make a motion to approve Save More Cooling and Heating change order proposal number 240055-5 dated 12/3/2025 for $9,983.23 as an increase to the contract to circuit trace the 6 back bands,
Not to exceed.
not to exceed
Mhm.
$9,983.23.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
That.
Okay.
All in favor?
All right.
Well, is there any
Oh,
more
sorry.
discussion?
Well, any more
Yeah,
discussion?
any more discussion or?
Kind of got it all, but if
Yeah.
anybody has anything more,
I would just say, obviously, time is of the essence. Is everybody happy with the language in the change order, or does that not matter?
it usually matters, they put a little description and then they have all their line items. I think that if the description is.
It's just a summary, like,
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
up the
yeah,
top there,
yeah.
Yeah, it says,
Right there.
it says they're gonna trace out the 6 exhaust fans and any other circuits on panel CP2D, CPLD, and RP6.
And are they all, are those, is that, those, do those panels include the one that you talked about, the newly discovered one?
I don't believe so. Those were the original panels that we believe these exhaust fans were supposed to be fed out of based on the drawings that we have that we're able to reference.
Can our
So
motion-
if these new, if the newly discovered motor control center in the history classroom closet does not feed those fans, the panels that were just listed off are the next most plausible target to look at. The original conversation was that we were going to try to maximize the $10,000 or just under $10,000 allotment to have them circuit trace anything else that's in the panels that are identified as feeding the exhaust fans, so that we are a few circuits better on knowing what is fed within the high school, because there's very little labeling currently.
I guess instead of the panels, should you just say the exhaust fans then? Why limit it to those panels? I don't know if that makes it.
Or the,
well,
or
they
the
mentioned
motion-
3 panels, so
Yeah.
maybe we should mention the other panel. Do you have a panel number in that history? Or just say the,
I just don't want to limit you to, if you find something else, it's like, well, we can't look at this panel even though we think it's where it's from because,
So can the motion include,
can it just be for the fans?
you said as per that change order number and the panel recently discovered in the history classroom, something like that?
Does anybody have a reference number or a name for that panel?
Issue room closet.
I didn't get a name off that
Potential.
motor control center, but
There-
I can tell you
there
the classroom number.
There were actually 3 panels in that room that had the numbers of 3 different rooftop units in there. So I think if we needed to, we could label or add some language to this that included those 3 panels that are in there. Tyler, what do you think of that? Because I know I looked at them, they're labeled.
I mean, I just think that the naming of the panels, unless I'm missing something, I think is a little bit irrelevant. They're
I would
being
agree.
they're being
Yeah.
directed to circuit trace the exhaust fans. And
Yeah.
after they do that, if they have not exhausted all resources, all dollar amount resources,
Okay,
they're supposed to then do some additional circuit tracing for us. We've already identified a few panels that we would like them to circuit trace. We could change the name of the panels or exclude names altogether, but the name of those panels was only in there as what we would like them to circuit trace if there's additional resources left under this change order.
okay, so
I think it just stays.
Okay,
leave
so
it.
no
that-
need,
so we'll just leave it as
no
is.
need to amend the motion.
No,
Okay,
I don't think so.
Okay,
okay, any other comment?
Good.
okay, all
Okay.
in favor?
I,
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Change order proposal 24055-5 is approved.
Okay, so we have to get it to, does it have a signature color on it?
Yes, it has everything.
Okay,
I think it was
Doesn't-
there.
My copy does not have color on it.
because there is a copy that does have.
I have a copy that has it. Did you put it? Oh,
Okay,
here
there
it
it
is.
is, yeah.
Here it is.
Okay,
Here
so
it
then
is.
we get that to Dan for signature.
Yeah.
So can you
So I
let,
can bring it to them tomorrow.
can Mark, I guess you would let them know that we've approved this and they should get started on it ASAP?
I certainly will.
And as soon as there's a signature, we can send them electronic copy, but it's good to go. So get them started as soon as possible.
They don't have to wait
Okay.
to get the signature.
I don't, if they're insistent on a signature from the first selectman to start, fine, but it's not unusual for things to get started while the whole signing process is in.
So I'll try to have Dan sign it tomorrow, bring it to the clerk. They send me a official copy. I'll send it to you, Mark. You forward it to Save More
Jason,
and then put it into the shared folder. Of
course.
Great.
Great, okay.
So now,
So anything else? So we're moving forward. Mark, you want to talk about the one panel that we talked about that evidently was potentially ordered wrong, but they were able to use it for in-service with the label?
Well, I will pass the description of that to John Moncelli, who is very, very aware of that situation and could speak to it a hell of a lot more competently than I can. So take it away, John.
So a little history on that. It seems like most of the building is wired in a 4-wire arrangement. So 3 hots and a neutral for your 3-phase equipment. This particular area was served by a motor control center, which we demolished, and we're replacing with a standard modern panel board. Now with the motor control center, it's impossible to know the wiring arrangement unless you take it apart. And, you know, us as the designers are not allowed to take apart high voltage equipment. So my electrical engineer took the assumption based on the regular panels that he saw that were 4-wire in the building, that this was also going to be a 4-wire piece of equipment. So we spec'd a 4-wire panel to replace that MCC. That in his mind also gives us flexibility. We've ran across this before where we spec a 4-wire piece of equipment and it turns out, even though existing documentation said there was 4-wire, what was actually installed in the field was 3-wire, meaning there's no neutral. With a 4-wire panel in those conditions, we've typically just asked the manufacturer for a new label, ran the conditions by the manufacturer and they sign off on it, they send a new label. So our approach is the most flexible approach for unknown circumstances. If we spec a 3-wire and it turned out to be 4-wire, we'd be dead in the water. You'd need an entirely new panel. The RFI and the subsequent change orders that followed were in response to the manufacturer coming back and saying, hey, no, we can't send you a new label. We don't do that anymore. So we responded to the RFI at that time with that information. Okay, now we need new panel interiors that are rated for 3-wire. Turns out we got some follow-up information. The very bottom line on the label on the panel that was bought says you can use it as a 3-wire arrangement as long as 2 conditions are met. The transformer feeding it is a grounded Y type of arrangement. We have documentation from Eversource saying that the transformer serving the building is indeed grounded Y type. So we meet that requirement. And the second requirement is that all the loads coming off of that panel are 3-phase, 3-pole breakers. So no single-phase loads can be on that panel. Well, I've designed, that's the intent anyway. The only things that are being served off of this panel are 3-phase loads. We don't have any single-phase loads on this panel. So we meet the requirements as listed on the label on the panel so that it can be wired in a 3-wire arrangement without changing anything. So essentially the final response to this is proceed as designed, no change order necessary. I understand why the contractor kind of missed this. It is a very bottom line on the label. And that label does get cut off by the cover. So unless they took the cover off and really read it, they would have missed it, and that's probably what happened. But it is labeled and listed on the panel for that arrangement. It's a safe installation. It's been tested that way by the manufacturer. So I see no issues here with proceeding as designed.
So this panel is currently energized and, during an inspection, this issue came up?
Before they energized it, they flagged it, basically when they took the existing motor control center apart, the electrician saw, oh, wow, this is 3-wire, not 4-wire. And he raised a flag and issued the R5, which was the right thing to do. But he just didn't see the listed acceptability on the label.
Okay.
John, will we need any documentation from you stating that that does in fact meet all the requirements are met in that condition for approval from the building official?
I don't think so, because the requirements are the label on the panel. And the building inspector and the building official, that's what they're gonna look for. If they even look for it, it's gonna be looking at the label on the panel to see if it matches the installation. So I wanna make Jason aware, hey, you should have the cover off when the inspection's done, so you can show the inspector, it says it clear as day on the panel that it can be wired in this arrangement. That's I have 2 recommendations really. That's number 1. Number 2, we simply get a plastic placard warning label, put it on that panel for future, just as a good practice. And basically that warning label would say, this is a 3-wire panel, 480 volt 3-phase. Do not connect any single phase loads to this panel. So, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, say you guys want to power up a new computer lab nearby, any electrician that does the work will understand right away, I can't power any single phase loads off of this panel. That's just my recommendation. That's extremely cheap. You're talking like a $20 placard. Jason will probably just do it. But that's my recommendation.
And so we'll want to make sure that Jason and Savemore gets that done.
Absolutely. If that's something I would be looking for on my punch list, if we proceed with this route, if we ask for a warning label, I'll be looking for it on my punch list.
I guess, like you said, as long as the building official is clear on that, and he's also the fire marshal, right? So however that works, as long as
So
he's
the fire
comfortable
marshal's
with
a
that.
separate person, so they would make sure.
But yeah, anytime, yeah. That's it.
And you explain that in your email, what the placard should say, so it's in writing from you, okay?
Yep. Yeah, Mark, if we go that route, we can have them submit the placard. My mechanical specs have warning label specifications in it. They could use that. And it's just the content that goes on the label, which I could assist with providing, like we just mentioned.
That'd be awesome.
Because the email didn't go to Savemore, I don't think. So we just want to make sure it gets to them.
Right, yeah, so maybe John then sent the email of the 9th to Savemore to make sure that he has the specifics for the label.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And Mark, just to button up one last thing, as far as documentation goes, when I said that we have documentation from Eversource about the transformer, that was from Masadi, who did the short circuit study. So Jason's contractor has this documentation. When they did the short circuit study, they pulled the info from Eversource, given to them by Eversource, and they listed it in their study. So the project already has that documentation. In case the official wants it, we have that on hand.
Right. I just didn't know that information had already been placed, and the building inspector would know that. My experience in the years has been, if you don't hand it to the building inspector, they don't assume anything, and they
Right.
assume the worst. So
Yep. So we have that on hand if they want that information.
horrific. Well, that's good. That's good. We'll have to talk to Jason and make sure that Mazzati has it next time they pull have the inspector in. Okay. All right. I have a few more things to go down the list on the schedule. If the committee would like to hear it, if not, we can move on.
No, I think it would be good to hear.
Okay. Right now, according to Save More's schedule, startup and test equipment is scheduled to happen on the 18th. Okay, it's not yet completed, it's ongoing, and we're monitoring that to see what's going on with it and how they're keeping up with it. Testing and balancing is supposed to be completed by the 31st of December. And I've notified SES in case they want to be on site at that point in time, which I believe they will. So I've put SES in contact with Save More. Insulation of the rooftop ductwork, which is a kind of a pet peeve for me. I've been on this project for 3 weeks now since Rick retired, and the first time I heard about the ductwork not being insulated was at least 3 weeks ago. And when we walked it last Thursday, it still wasn't insulated.
Yesterday
So-
was either. I went up there while I was in the building.
It wasn't done yet, John?
No,
That just makes me mad. Because Jason said it was going to get done that day. So I'm going to call him tomorrow.
Is that weather dependent, Mark, you think? I mean, did they have?
A little bit. A little
Something.
bit. A little
Yeah.
bit.
we
Yeah,
specified
you don't
bell
you don't want to
insulation.
put insulation on wet duct work or anything like that. You want to make sure it's clean and dry and
We did. We did not specify fiberglass on this job, so it's not, if it gets wet, it's okay.
yeah.
What we used, whereas fiberglass, if it gets wet, it gets destroyed. But we have a more resilient product on this job.
Good. Painting and drywall. You know, when we walked through, it looked like most of it was done, but there still was 2 or 3 places that needed drywall to be put up and taped and compounded in and painted. And again, Jason had this scheduled to be completed on the 5th of December. And when we walked through last week, it was not done yet. So I'm assuming, Tyler, maybe you've been in there since. I don't think it's done. I'm going to try to get out there Friday afternoon and see what progress they've made.
Mark, how about the floor penetrations? You remember? there was
Yes.
a few Rooms where they have to still patch, the mason had to come in or somebody.
Right, right. That's another thing I want to look at. It's not listed in their schedule, so to speak. So it's something I took this straight off their schedule, but that's something else I'll look at. I think there was one floor that there was a penetration that still needed to be closed up.
There's at least 2 classrooms.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I didn't see the other one.
We didn't go in the other classroom, but
That's
it's on the
why.
other side of the floor.
Okay. All right. Substantial completion is supposed to be the 17th of December, but I don't think that's valid at this point. I think substantial completion will likely take place if they complete everything according to what their plans would be. The end of the month, 12/31. Owner training is on their list, so that's going to be coordinated between Save More and Tyler and your group. It's scheduled for the 18th. We'll see. Hopefully it gets done. And then Kohler Ronan's punch list is supposed to be completed on the 23rd. Are you aware of that, John?
I would just say that's contingent upon their progress. Biggest thing is to get the ductwork insulated
Yep.
before I go out there to punch list. I would like to punch list basically at or after substantial completion, ideally.
Correct.
But you know, if they get everything insulated before the end of the month, then I can maybe get out there and start a punch list before the end of the month.
Okay. And then we're in contact with SES commissioning and have them coordinating with the school, with Save More, and with John for their portion of the work, which some of it may take place here in December, which is what I'm expecting, but portions of it will take place periodically over the next 10 months. So, and that's really what we have outstanding, unless somebody knows something else that I'm not aware of.
So, I didn't see it, but the roof flashing, as of yesterday, it still wasn't complete.
Okay.
Any news, Tyler?
No news, but I didn't make it out to site today. I've been busy with budgeting.
It's that time of year. Let's start
Yeah,
now.
so check on that.
Yep.
Mark, when I
Given-
was, did see, I wasn't specifically looking for roof flashing at the time, but they had the penetrations through the roof. Those were all flashed in. That was new since the last time I was out there.
Okay.
So the flashing might be pretty far along, if not complete.
Yeah, I think as of Thursday last week, there was a couple of pieces that were not complete.
Yeah,
Tyler, correct me if
They
I'm
had
wrong.
started flashing, but all the newer penetrations for conduit and electrical had been flashed as far as I saw, but some of the old sleepers still had not been flashed.
Okay. And that's my list of tasks to be complete, folks.
Good.
Tyler, is there anything else you, or are you good with that list, or just because you're on the ground there?
I mean, there's a little bit of everything that still needs to happen. Like John said, really the project should be at substantial completion before we do a punch list. The stuff that Mark just listed isn't really punch list, although it includes a few punch list-esque items, because Save More's gotten the ball 85% of the way there and then just left odds and ends. But I know they're working on it. It's just, again, the lack of solid communication from Save More is frustrating, because Jason doesn't give us real answers. He gives us what he thinks we want to hear. But Joey, the foreman, boots on the ground, I know is working on all of these. He's aware of that list that Mark just read through. So I know we will get it done. It's just going to be frustrating getting there, because we'll get inaccurate answers from Jason along the way.
All right,
And
so
Jason will promise, based on his schedule, on our OAC meeting on Tuesday, I asked him to shorten it down and take off all the line items that were completed already and didn't need to be there, and said, can you just give me the short list of this schedule for the next month? Because that in effect becomes a 3-week look ahead, which is what we've asked for all along through this project. I know Rick asked for it. Since I've been on, I'm asking for it as well. And he promised me he'd send it to me that night, and I still haven't seen it yet. So I don't mean to sound negative towards Save More. I'm just not sure they were the best choice as a prime for this project. The impression I've gotten is they're really a sub, and sometimes asking a sub to be a prime puts them in an unfamiliar position, and their on-site supers aren't really on-site supers. They're foremen that know how to coordinate their own guys, not the rest of the guys in the field. So I think as kind of a lessons learned, if we have a project like this again in the future, I would recommend that we do not use a prime as use a subcontractor as a prime. My only comment.
Hey, Tyler, has Jason reached out to you regarding holiday schedules and whether schedules even going to jive with the?
No, he has not sent me anything like we discussed in yesterday's meeting. So
Okay.
will you be continuing to have weekly OAC meetings?
Yes.
Okay, so keep pushing on that schedule of getting,
Of course.
obviously, perfect time to get a lot of work done would be during the break. Yet they have to make arrangements to be able to, I don't know how the building is staffed during that period of time, Tyler, so we want to
Yeah.
make sure that they know when
That was-
people are coming and how to get in and all that.
yeah, that was part of what Tom was referring to in our meeting yesterday. I drew attention for at least the second time to the fact that during the holiday break, school is not in session. but that my custodians also have holidays, and if the project needs to be in the building on any of those, I need advance notice.
Yeah.
Since we're discussing it, also just FYI for the commission, I'm on vacation and traveling from the 23rd through the new year. So I drew attention to that as well because I told Jason I want to coordinate that stuff. My head custodian is also taking some time over the holidays, so it needs to be coordinated in advance prior to me leaving for vacation.
So when does break start for?
The school has a half day on the 23rd and then is fully off from the 24th through the 2nd, with school starting again on Monday, the 5th. But my custodians also have 24th and 25th off, as well as 31st and 1st off.
Okay, so, Mark?
Yes, Roger, couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay. So Mark, we have those Tuesday meetings the next couple of weeks, but if you could, maybe every week, just send us an email. So if you send it to us three, and then I can share it with the whole commission, the project. We don't have another scheduled, commission meeting until next month, January 15th. So I don't want to keep anybody in the dark or anything of what's going on, because we want to deal with maybe on that call. But we'd like to
Yeah,
know what's going on. If there's another problem,
right. And
we can
if,
share with everybody.
and if there's a
course.
special meeting, we want
Yeah.
to be able to jump in and do something about that.
Of course.
Great.
That's what I was thinking. I would try and stay in touch with you, Roger, and Tom and Nancy, and make sure that every week you guys are well aware of what progress is or isn't being made. And then if something comes up and we need an emergency so to speak meeting to approve something else, I will certainly raise the flag for that.
Okay. So, and then just like we said, keep pushing Save More to get Tyler their schedule so that he can make arrangements for someone to be able to be around to, because like what I'm remembering, Tyler, is you're saying that you want to have somebody from your staff in the building when they're there working.
Well, if the project needs to be in the building on any of the days that are custodial holidays, so Christmas Eve, Christmas, New Year's Eve, New Year's, then yes, I need to coordinate to have a custodian in. And then currently I have no intention of having anybody in the building unless there's a project need, because it will be double time for me.
Right, so it's December 26, 7, 28, 29, 30 is okay.
Well, 27, 28 are weekends, and the project, same thing applies on the weekends. If the project needed it, we would coordinate it, but we don't staff custodians on the weekends unless there's a business need. But the 26th, 29th, and 30th are normal custodial work days. The project can have free access to the building as they have been. But those other days, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, if the project has a need, they need to let me know in advance so I can coordinate.
And you've already put that forward to Save More. Good.
Yes, Jason has been made aware 2 OAC meetings in a row.
Okay, good.
Is it worth asking at this point, since it's kind of like lunchtime and there's not many days left, to see if Jason can give us a daily schedule or
Thanks for that.
itemize these tasks on it, just so we can somehow hold them accountable? Because my experience on these OAC meetings is what Mark has been describing. The schedule comes in at 9:30 in the morning for an 11:30 meeting, and it's incomplete. It's riddled with errors. It makes no sense. And that's been like 3 weeks in a row. So I don't know if there's a way we could all try to hold Save More to task a little better. I don't know.
I mean, we can certainly all keep pressuring Jason for it, but as far as, is there any way we can actually hold his feet to the fire? I don't think we have many avenues that we could take. We intentionally removed a lot of the contractor restrictions from the contract because we weren't getting the bids that we wanted. So in an effort to get bids on this project again and get it down to a cost that we were willing to accept, a lot of our safeguards were removed intentionally, and Jason is well aware of that. And he has been unwilling to give us what are common standard 2-week look aheads and courtesies that apply to every construction project I've ever been involved in, because he knows he doesn't have to. So I don't honestly think we will get it from him, but we can continue to ask.
Yep, I'd keep
Okay.
asking, but we'll see what we get. Just, we're gonna have to, you can ask too if you're on the call. You're on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
call, you
I'll
can ask.
mention something, but yeah, I mean, I've asked for schedules to show up
He's not gonna do it.
a day later.
It's
2
the
days
last
later.
month. He just wants to get done out.
We don't have to.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So anything else? We have to do the invoices.
Okay.
Sorry, Tom, just before we jump into invoices, I want to just thank John for jumping on and let him know that he can
Yeah.
jump off so he doesn't have to stay on.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, John.
And
Help anything. Take care.
anything, just reach out to me.
Okay, great.
Perfect. Thank you, John.
Have a good night.
Thank you, Tyler, for doing that. Thank you.
Okay, so start STV to approve STV invoice number 368 dated November 20th, 2025 in the amount of $5,208.50.
Dave Wilson seconds.
Second, okay, let's discuss this. It looks like your original contract was for
90,
$96,591. After this invoice, you'll have $6,552 left.
Yes.
You think that'll be enough to finish?
I hope so. As I told Roger, I will do my best to, as Rick did, stretch my hours as much as possible and minimize my input, so to speak, on my timesheet. I can, as the vice president and in charge of the office, I can write off a little bit of my time. And as we've done, as STV has done in the past, we'll try to keep our change orders to a minimum for you folks. So we understand the sensitivity of the project value. That's not to say I might not, if we're still sitting here talking about this in March, then I certainly will need something to cover. But hopefully we'll be done at the end of this month or maybe a little bit into January.
well, you have to have
In other
some,
words, yes, I think I can make it work.
Okay.
right, because you have to have some in there for Geraldine and paperwork for
Exactly.
reimbursement and stuff like that.
Okay, thanks, Mark. So we have a second. Yep, so any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion passes. Yeah, let me do SES because I think this one's easy. I make a motion to approve SES invoice number 5601 dated 11/25/2025 for $1,000.
Second,
Okay, I got a second from Nancy. Anybody have any comments? Okay, all in favor?
aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I'll make a motion to approve Kohler Ronan invoice number 22021.02.01-14 dated 11/30/2025 in the amount of $3,662.50. Second by Dave. Any comments?
Oh, good.
I have a comment. They're billing 100%.
So the way that they set that up, and I guess we probably would have to ask Craig, maybe not John. They had a fixed amount and they divided it by how many months the project was supposed to be. So rather than like we get with SES or even STV where there's,
Time and.
yeah, it's kind of like it spells out who did what for what month. It's been spread over the X number of months and an equal amount each time. So if they did less work last month and more work this month, we might have to ask them, but it kind of balanced out. And I think there was a lot less that they did towards the beginning, and then they started getting RFIs and things like that. So,
I guess my question would be, if they're billing at 100% now and there's still saying maybe a month left of the project, are they handling RFIs and?
they have to keep doing all that. We just need to know from them. And that would be the question to ask. They're saying 100% because whatever the amount was divided by however many months came out with its amount. So that's, their accounting department is probably just saying, oh, 100% because it's supposed to be done. Well, it's not done.
Yeah, this is absolutely on a billing schedule. So you're right about the accounting department. I can talk to Craig. Obviously you guys make the decision about whether or not you want to approve it today, but we have a very good relationship with Kohler Ronin. My personal opinion that you can take it or leave it is I think if we call them and say we want to wait until, we get past the punch list and all of those things, I don't think it'd be a problem. I can ask if you would like me to.
And Jen, does this need to be done this month? Like if it goes into January, what are we looking at for debt? Right? Doesn't this be approved and paid before January? No.
No, we have some time on that.
Did you have some time on that?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we should go past January, but I think it's a fair question to ask Kohler Ronin.
So if we do approve this, then they can't bill again, correct? Because
Theoretically.
They would have to give us a change order if they want to bill anything in addition to that 100%.
Right. But
And they would have to validate and justify that.
if we need them for an RFI or we need them for something else to create a punch list, that's included in their contract and we're just kind of paid up front a little bit here.
Yes.
That's one way to look at it.
Yeah.
That's paid up contract.
I think we could do either.
We'll put it to a vote.
Good. I'm okay with it,
Okay,
but I think we also want to check in with them.
right. So, all in favor? All opposed?
Okay, Jennifer, maybe you could ask? Or do you want to wait until the end of the month just in case?
I think we could ask.
No, I'd rather us now. I can ask.
Okay,
Yeah, because I think, like I said, they've never given us a, day by day or whatever accounting. Yet they must be keeping some track of what they've been doing and where are we with that. It would be good to know. Not that we want to change order.
Right, of course.
And we have no invoices.
Nothing from Sagamore?
Nothing from Sagamore, no
Probably a good thing.
application. Yep.
now Mark, they were gonna wait, did you say for Sagamore to put an invoice or? Why didn't you get one? I thought you said they were gonna wait till the end of the month or?
I think that's what Jason's plan is to wait till the end of the month and hopefully have, be substantially complete at that point.
Because we can't approve that until next month, I meant to say, into the new year. So is that okay?
It's not gonna break their bank. They'll be fine.
Okay, good.
And then I can't remember, are we holding retainage and then the retainage won't get released until, if we are holding retainage, wouldn't get released until we're past substantial completion, correct?
Correct.
Right, we are holding retainage.
Yeah, okay,
So all the punch list items are done. I would not release retainage.
great, okay.
Okay, Anything else on the HVAC project?
Nobody wants to go on the roof?
Yeah.
Go on to the next meeting.
Yeah, you want to shovel the snow on the roof so Tyler can fix it? Okay. All right, so we'll take a look now at the BHS roof project. We know the, proposals have been,
Thanks, Mark.
Nothing.
thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, folks.
And, it's just the contract negotiations. Jennifer, maybe you just want to give us a brief status. That's all.
I'll jump in.
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
Tyler.
go ahead.
I think I have the most recent update. So, Jen and I met with Melanie, I think just before our last, Public Site and Building Commission meeting, to review the contract. Melanie voiced some concerns with the draft of the contract that, Silver Petroselli had provided. It was a standard, AIA, Architect Institute of America contract that had been heavily redacted to try to fit the scope of our project, and it didn't really work in a clear and cohesive way. So Melanie voiced her concerns. Jen and I agreed and shared many of them. Melanie was going to work on drafting her own contract. I have not seen that, but she did on Sunday evening. She sent me a couple of the exhibits and asked me to review them and make sure they were correct. She had gone through and pulled the information from the RFP, but she wanted to remove any reference to Berry Elementary School. I reviewed that and I got her a couple of notes back yesterday. She acknowledged the notes either yesterday evening or this morning, I don't recall. That is the last update I've seen. But I did just this evening while we were on this call noticed that Brad's office, it was copied me on an email asking for contact information again. I'm not exactly clear if that is Brad's office asking for it or Melanie, because Melanie's copied on it and it was a response to a really old email of mine. But I tend to make the assumption that that is so they can send the contract over, but I don't have that information for sure.
Okay, so we're still waiting. Contract negotiations, the town attorney is going back and forth for the verbiage of the contracts. Let's just for my own and everybody here, let's just say that a contract is signed within the next month. Let's just say that. When would you expect them to potentially, knowing the weather, it could be snowing and ice, that they may start the assessment? Are you thinking whenever it breaks or spring, March or?
I assuming Melanie writes the contract the same as the RFP was written.
Right.
If memory serves, I believe the first schematic designs are due within 5 weeks of signing of the contract, so they would need to get started right away. I mean, obviously, if we have a crazy winter and there's 2 feet of snow on the roof, that may impact things. But when Jen and I draft the RFP, we did set some timelines in there. And I would expect Melanie is going to copy those directly from that into her contract. So I would expect them to get started right away once they have signed contract.
Good. Okay. Thanks. Any other questions from anybody or? No. Okay. Thank you, Jennifer, Tyler.
Thank you very much.
I guess we'll be in touch. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a good week. Take care.
Good night.
Thank you. Now we're into Jonathan. Okay,
He's been watching holiday movies.
yeah.
Pretty much.
Is there a holiday movie called The Animal Shelter?
Yeah, it's a Hallmark
Is there
movie.
an elf in that or?
It's right here.
Okay, so, John, I guess the biggest issue right now is sighting. Is that what you,
Yeah, so for the animal shelter, I spoke with Eric yesterday about it. I think we're at the point where we can probably start requesting proposals from some firms to do a site evaluation for a couple sites. I think the sites we're looking at are the existing site, just to get a baseline, the ball field site, and the site in Francis Clark Park. I spoke with Dan Carter about that, and he's okay with us looking at those three sites as options for a new shelter to be built.
What was the first?
The existing.
The existing site, I think we need to at least explore that, just to prove that we can do it.
Which site of Clark Park is that?
So I don't think there's an actual address, but it's the one that's next to, there's an existing doggy daycare.
The corner lot.
Yeah,
The corner lot, yeah.
I think you showed us a,
Yeah, I pulled up, was it last meeting? I pulled up a little diagram of that site. It's,
That's the site.
so if we put an RFP out, are we going to say in that we're just looking at these three sites, or should we leave it a little more open?
Ultimately decides, I guess, right? Like, is that up to the selectmen? Because like I said, I'm not on board with the ball field at all. I mean, I don't think it's.
Well, I think we make a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen. And
After the evaluations, right?
yes, so we have to get the evaluation. So we,
Yeah.
That's our
Yeah.
only option.
and
It's the way to go. We just look at three, and I guess not more than 3 years.
I don't know, John, I don't know if it's best to just say those three, or whether we leave it open a little bit more or not. I mean, I don't think we would be tasked with
Picking it.
going out and buying land.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
seeing what we have available as town property.
Sorry.
Most of the time, we're not tasked with going out and buying land.
Is there a current preference, existing site being priority 1, Clark being 2, and Ballfield 3, or?
Exactly. If the existing site could work, if we can figure out a way to build there, that's going to be appropriate. I think that's Stephen, the animal control officer. I think that's his preference, to just stay there.
Okay.
He likes to be in the part of town where the current building is, just because it's close to Reading. It seems to work out from a logistics standpoint. Some of the other properties in town that we've looked at are up by Stony Hill. There's one near Mitchell Park. The other one is also near Mitchell Park. It's where the farmers market is. There's a site over there. So they're just really not close to like the downtown core of Bethel.
Right.
And all the other sites in town are just little
Small.
leftover chunks and subdivisions that are just not appropriate.
Right.
So I think if we can probably drop ball fields if no one thinks it's appropriate.
Also, you're talking Crowfield, right? That's the, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So by plum trees down there in the hill.
Not Crowfield. So it's there. It's by Crowfield, but it's a little further southwest. Yeah. There's like a T-ball field right currently, and it's where our former drinking water wells are.
It's not the use of still.
We've Parks and Rec says they use that field for T-ball.
I mean the wells. You said I think about former wells. Or something.
Oh yeah. We do. They're active, yeah, but it's not where the new location is.
Now, not within the scope of the RFP, but I thought Dan Carter was going to talk to the first selectman of Reading just to see if they're still going to be part of the plan here. Usage, I meant to say.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything on that front.
Okay.
Regarding that, but it is something Dan has stressed. He wants to make sure that they're going to still be involved, and that he wants them to help out, I guess, financially in some way.
Okay, so help us new members, maybe Nancy. So the town has to then come to this commission and say, here are the three sites that we want a proposal, And then
So-
who actually writes the proposal?
That's my question is who's gonna write the RFP? And do we have to put out an RFP or are we, if it's under a certain amount, can we approach a handful of civil engineers or whatever and ask for proposals?
Yeah, I think that's probably the easier approach at this point. I don't think this is gonna cost over $50,000. I think we would need just a lot of it would be just looking at flood maps, digging some test pits, which we've done this recently at the town hall. Our highway guys can dig them, and then the engineers come and do their infiltration test in the pits, so we can save some money on an operator. And then just compiling a report. So I think we can probably reach out to three firms, engineering firms, and see if they're interested in pulling a proposal together for us. And if we do that, and the costs are over $50,000, I guess we can cross that bridge when we get there. But I don't think we will be in that territory for this kind of study.
Right, and if we're asking for a proposal to submit a bid, the proposal should have some language in it so they kind of know what we're looking for.
Sure, yeah. We'd still prepare something. I guess our office could do that. And we can work with you guys to tighten it up, but we can spearhead that.
Okay, because I think that's what Jeff was just starting to ask too, is like who writes up something and.
And what are they gonna say? This is based on X, Y, Z. This is why we think this is the best. Or these are the pros and cons or something of the
Yeah.
user cost
Yeah.
potential.
Would we do it in a sequence? So we do the existing first, and if that fails, move on to the second?
I think
That's
we would,
interesting.
well, I suppose we could.
Yeah, it's a good point. Why even bother doing three if that's the number one choice? Why not just say is that viable? Yes or no? Okay, then. But I thought that would,
What's the Franklin Park or something?
Yeah.
Let's get a proposal
Yeah,
for
there's
three, but in a.
I think you want to just say this first, then right.
So maybe we get it as an itemized proposal with 3 lots with the addresses, price per lot, and then we start in sequence.
Yeah, I mean, once we engage a professional, they might look at it instantly and say, no good. I mean, they might know right away before we even do any test pits or anything that it's going to be an uphill battle to build in a floodplain.
Right,
So that might just be an instant.
that's what we're building though too in a way, right? I mean, it's, like you're not building a 5-story building necessarily. I mean, I would think that comes into play too, exactly what's going there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it won't be a cheap building.
because I think
That
John,
way you do it.
yeah, John would have to include the sort of schematic type drawing that you put together of this is what we need. Doesn't have to be this shape or whatever, but
Yeah.
need, this is how much parking, that kind of thing. And
Yeah, I think we would give them, like we've seen how much square footage we anticipate, what the use is, how much outdoor space for the dogs we need, how much parking. We definitely would prefer to have town water and town sewer, things like these, all these things, kind of make a better case for a site. And I think that's one of the ball fields doesn't have sewer. That's one thing that ball field doesn't have going for it, which makes it even kind of lower on the list.
right,
Um,
what we have to do as a commission, since we've been assigned the project, is if we get proposals, if we say we want some bid proposals from, I don't know, 3 different, 4 different, whatever companies, and then they give them to us, then we have to go to the Board of Selectmen, and then they have to go to the Board of Finance to ask for that money.
yeah,
So I think that the proposals would need to be completed. I don't think we could say, all right, well, let's have a proposal to look at the existing site. And they say that'll cost $10,000, something like that. And then they go and look at it and they say, nope. And then, so first we'd have to go to the Board of Selectmen and say, $10,000. And then if the site doesn't work, then we would have to go back to the Board of Selectmen and say, now we have a proposal to look at whatever number 2 is.
Is Paul Street by the sewer plant not an option? What do they really use that for now? Then? Isn't that part? Didn't the fire department want to build like a training facility there?
Yeah, I think it was something that we talked about. There are a few issues over there. It is, I think, also in a flood zone. We dump a lot of the town street sweepings over there, so it might be an environmental issue.
Well, that, I mean,
So yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, if it's something that it is something that we've talked about, but I don't. We could put it on. We could put it on the list if.
No.
well, no, I mean, I just think that, well, that would be that area of town. It's, it's the industrial area, commercial area, not residential area, and Chili Heights.
Yeah, well, we could.
But I mean, again, you would know, you're the day to day there, right? You would know best as far as what the liable ones are.
Yeah, and we can talk with the highways, highway and utilities staff and see what they think. I don't know if Kathy, is Kathy there? If she has any insight on that, just for
Yeah,
being.
she's back up in the corner.
I don't think she likes that idea, but I'm just,
That's what.
yeah, regardless, they also dumped in the parking lot of Parloa, right? The parking lot of all the snow on the stuff on the streets there too.
That's, no, that's different.
That's little stuff, you can save stuff in the street, right? What's the difference?
So does the town have 3 civil engineers in their Rolodex that we could choose from?
So I kind of casually in passing mentioned this as a possibility to a couple folks. We had Ty and Bond, they're an engineering firm out of Shelton, Connecticut. They did a parking study for us, or they're in the process of doing it on the west side of the municipal center, and they did some test pits for us. And I just casually asked if this is something they could handle, and they said shouldn't be a problem. There's also another firm, just pretty small outfit. I think they're also in Shelton. It's like Pedroia Engineering. It's a couple guys, and we engaged them for something else in the past, and I asked them as well, and they said they'd be happy to put a proposal together for this. We also have a list of a bunch of other firms that we've seen just in town on various things. So I can sit down with Eric and have him take a look at that list and approach folks that we think are appropriate.
So first we gotta write something up so that we can then contact people and let them know. So
you send, is that what you said? You'll send some, information up?
Yeah, we could pull together something that kind of describes what we're looking to do, and we can go back and forth and get it to a point that we're all comfortable with, and then we can send it to a couple. I guess we'll do 3 firms might be a good, or maybe if we'll start with 3, and if one or a few don't want to pull something together, we can reach out to a couple others. We can start there and do something like that.
So then maybe for the January 14th meetings, you want to do a RFP or whatever we're talking about.
Kind of like a project statement or something like that, or
yeah, first draft, and then have 3 engineering firms we'll send it to, and we can discuss it in a little more depth, and maybe whatever votes we need to do, we can do on the 14th.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds good.
So does anything like that have to go past Melanie or?
Well, what we're going to do, since we know our insurance requirements, when we touch base with each of these firms, we're going to give them the requirements up front.
Okay.
And just say, if you can't meet this, don't even bother. That's our new approach for consultants at this point.
Okay.
You said one of the firms is doing something for the town now.
Yes, and that's actually that's the firm that actually started the insurance requirement issue. So we know they're good from an insurance standpoint, which is nice. Melanie went back and forth with their attorney for several months to get them to agree to town insurance, and
Okay,
So maybe we increase that list to 5 in case the school
Sure.
somebody else doesn't have the right insurance.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Okay,
okay, great. All right, thanks. So you try to get us something after the first of the year.
Yeah, I can upload some stuff to the drive. I'll take a pass at kind of like a project statement or kind of like a mini RFP if you want to call it that. I can work with Eric on that, and then I can, if you guys are comfortable reviewing it, like in your free time, and so when we come to the meeting, the next meeting, 14th, we can hopefully have made contact with some firms if that's the approach.
Okay, great, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, so the next one item is the highway garage. So we know that the bids were approved, contracts, and they were waiting. I think the start meeting that we had a couple weeks ago, they were going to wait until after Thanksgiving to start.
Yeah, so just to give you a heads up on that, we got a little hung up with the school districts because they had the scissor lift. We couldn't really get in touch with them, and it kind of got drawn out. So we were supposed to. I tried scheduling something either this week or next week, and it just didn't work out. So the first week of January, we're gonna have that site visit happen. After the holiday, everyone kind of had busy schedules as we started getting closer to the holidays.
Right.
So we'll just wait until the first week of January. It's like the 5th. I think
Okay.
January 5th, the week of January 5th or something like that.
oh, I saw it front for a week.
Did you try to reserve it for an extended period in case we get into some rough weather? Or
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna have to touch base with the schools again, but Kathy, I think you heard from someone over there that I think they had the lift tied up until I think this week, and then it freed up. So we got to just double check to make sure that we can get it back. And they have no projects going on that require it, but I'll make sure that we can have it. And I think it seems like we need it for 2 days at least. But like you said, if we run into a couple of days of bad weather or something, we might need to
Right.
push it.
Yeah,
So
but you guys know we had a kickoff meeting, the Garys. They were supposed to start this week, I think. But it's getting pushed, so.
Kathy, if Public Works needs the lift, you still have to go through the school to get, who does the actual
They-
scheduling?
They own it, the schools own it, so we have to coordinate with them. Yeah, I know that they own it, so
They own the
we
lift,
have
really.
to coordinate with them when we can use it, and then we have to arrange for the delivery.
The Garys don't have a ladder together.
It's high.
They need lifts for.
Inside, the
Inside.
security trusses and things like
I
that.
think that lift is a
The
better,
lift is all inside.
you wanna move, they're not moving ladders,
Well,
yeah,
you're saying
they're
inside.
not moving ladders.
Inside.
They
No.
said that,
Right.
So if,
meeting.
No, that's a tall ceiling. I would think that, yeah, that makes complete sense.
so if they coordinate with the town garage staff, because they may have to move equipment or whatever,
yeah.
just in case, I'm just curious, what does it cost to rent a lift for 2 or 3 days or a week or something? That may be, yeah, I'm just saying, if the schools say that we have,
Yeah.
is it that much?
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't.
You know, the deliveries probably happen.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
not cheap.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah, lifts all the time.
Yeah, when the town uses the lift, we have Schmitty's Auto Body move it for us from the school to the highway garage. That's how they transport it.
What size do we have?
What's it, 30, but
36.
it's like 30.
And Eric, and just for a little more context, Eric and I met, and I think Kathy, we met with Vic, the highway supervisor, the building maintainers, Zach and Jerome, and they're all on board to kind of help out day of to move vehicles out of the garage, set up ladders, push over drop ceiling, and just get the guys situated. We had a look at the building. The structure is pretty accessible. I mean, with a lift in most of the garage. In the building maintenance garage, there's like a mezzanine level where you can actually go up into this like wood structure, and you're pretty much right at all the roof joists. So they're going to have good access. And with the trucks pulled out of the garage, there should be no issues whatsoever.
Yeah, the offices, they just use an A-frame ladder or something? Or?
Yeah, A-frame ladder and pull over some ceiling tiles.
Right.
And you can just pop through.
Yeah, you definitely need to lift up that back too.
Yeah.
If we do get some snow and it's sticking around and it's cold, there's not really an option to get up there and shovel or clear or do anything like that. We're kind of stuck at that point, right?
I would think so. I mean, if there's like significant accumulation on the roof, I don't think they're getting a good look at it.
Yeah. Well, January.
Yeah.
When they do it, there's no shaking.
So it's January 5th. That
Approximately, yeah.
approximately that
Right.
we're asking to hold it for our use. Well, for as out of the school.
Yeah.
The drone, I'm surprised with the drone technology out in school.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can do it.
And so Gary's did say you're looking at a roughly 60-day lead time
Yes.
from assessment to documents.
Yeah.
So that's probably going to get pushed into February, March at this point before we have an actual.
Yeah, I would think so.
Date for all of them. Projected for the next 45 days.
Okay, well, thank you very much, John.
We got one more thing for the highway roof.
Hang on.
Can you, I don't know if you guys remember, but we had another proposal from a company called General Drafting and Design for the sprinklers and the MEP work for this project. It was for the design phase, so we don't need it right away. But they wanted to waive their umbrella insurance because they don't carry that. And Gary Tarantino has kind of been like defending these guys, and Eric and I are just we're not fully comfortable pushing Dan to waive umbrella insurance. Everyone else has it. We don't think it's appropriate. So we're currently looking at other folks for design for that component. We have Reeve in town who does fire suppression systems, so I reached out to them to see if they can give us a proposal. I think the MEP work is actually pretty small. It's a few like exhaust fans that penetrate the roof. So it's just something we're looking into, just because we think it's kind of ridiculous to waive a pretty big component of the insurance for that
Yeah.
company.
And Tarantino or Torello, we can roll Reeve in with those guys.
I think so. We wanted to first hear from Reeve and see what they're going to give us in terms of proposal, and see how they meet our insurance. I mean, I know we use them for other stuff in town. And then we'll kind of have a conversation with Gary about that. But it's just going to be hard. I mean, Melanie already gave us her opinion on waiving the umbrella insurance, and pretty much said it's up to Dan to make a business decision on it. And
I mean, it's got this, I mean, a ton of other companies out there, right? So,
No, I think we shouldn't. But,
yeah, no, wait.
So a question that came up in the Board of Finance meeting was about whether we actually needed a sprinkler system. It was an interesting question, I thought. Is there any evidence or any studies being done, or, that say if a truck caught fire or a gas can caught fire, that sprinkler system was going to actually do anything about it? Or
that's a good question, and I don't know the answer to that. I know it's something that Bob Dibble, the former highway supervisor, said that he wanted to. He's been wanting to install in the garage he said, because there's a lot of millions of dollars of equipment in there. And again, I don't know how good a suppression system is. I don't know what they're designed to do. Are they designed to prevent fire from spreading to other buildings or extinguish the fire?
Well, I guess the sprinkler people would do that too, right? Right, what they're going to do, the suppression. Right. If it's a price for with and without or something, right now, what's that? it's.
Or would the town save for the insurance on the building?
No, we asked
We
them.
already asked.
No.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
it-
If there might be another suppression system that would work better in a utility garage than water.
It's not gonna be water, right? Probably.
Well, it's a dry system, probably.
Yeah.
Well, there's two kinds of dry systems. So there's dry stuff being shot down, and then there's dry system of the water's back somewhere where it's
Right,
heated. If
at the
place
main
is
and then
heated,
it
then it
Yeah,
gets pressured in, which sometimes you need in places that aren't, heated well.
Yeah, exactly. That garage is heated though, right?
the garage is heated and, but you know, in the winter, I doubt it ever gets cold enough to freeze the lines, but in the winter, the garages are open, you know, all the time. So it's heated, but there's giant holes in the wall most of the day.
But that's a good point of, what's a better system with the type of fire that could possibly happen in a place like
Again,
that.
they would look at that too, right? Yeah.
I would hope they would let us know.
Yeah, yeah.
I think we're talking about water because, again, maybe I'm missing something, but water is chemical. Because the question that came up was whether you had to hook up to the water, whatever they called it, a curb.
Yeah, like the water main.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was assuming we were just pumping water into the.
Right, there's a bathroom in there, so I'm assuming that there's some water, but is it enough? And so then we'd have to find out, do we have to
Yeah, I think.
pressurize it differently or?
Sure, pump or something there.
So anyway, I don't know if the sprinkler company is gonna provide that study or they're just gonna give us a design for a water sprinkler system.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. So I know the town has a good relationship with Reeve. So when I get in touch with them, I'll ask them these questions and see what they think. I don't know if vehicles with hydraulic fluid and diesel fuel require a chemical based material to put the fire out or something. I don't know. These are questions. These are good questions we should ask.
The foam compared to water.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Okay,
I think we can't say, oh, we've never had a problem before. I don't want to say, well, let's wait till we have a problem.
Yeah, but you're right, the same with the waters, if there's not enough water, then if the water's, well, it's not, they're not gonna work. Then-
Yeah.
Exactly, $1 million sprinkler system that doesn't put out.
Parksburg, they would think you have enough water there.
Yeah, no, I think they have the size, again, I can't think of the name, but the size of the pipe,
Main or pipe or
the
whatever.
main to plug into manifold. Yeah. Stuff.
But yeah, that's also a good point. I mean, just from what a fire suppression system does is just to limit the spread of the fire until the fire department can get there. Like, is the damage already done at that point on the equipment? I mean, we can.
Well, it's not just the equipment, it's the people in the building too, right? So.
Right.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
that.
That way
True. Yeah.
sprinklers go off, do they damage more than they save? If it's in water, it's just water sprinkling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see the sprinkler, they have to look at the type of work they do in there, well, it's the fact that it's not the sprinkler, if they're welding something, or if they're,
Right. Only because the question came up, I'm sure it's gonna come up again, so we should be prepared to
Right.
answer it.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Yeah. We'll engage. We'll talk with Reeve and see what they think.
Right, if we did go ask for money to have them provide that type of design, we would have to have a lot of backup for it. Otherwise, they'd just be doing what other MEP stuff.
it is what the cost is too, if that's a small percentage compared to the total, they may not focus on the sprinklers. No, all good points though,
But we do have to be prepared.
but yeah, of course.
Yep.
okay, thank you, Jonathan. So
Thank you,
we'll
guys.
forward to some RFP information for the animal shelter in the next couple of weeks or whatever. And then you'll let us know more about the highway garage if the January 5th is a good target date.
Yeah, I'll send everyone an email when we get something scheduled, just so
Right.
you're all. And if any of you wanted to stop by, just see what's going on that day, feel free. I'll be around when they're doing their walk, and we'll have our building maintenance guys and just if you're
Great.
curious.
All right.
But
Thank-
we'll keep you in the loop.
Okay, have a
Thank
good
you
week.
very much. Take
All
care.
right, thank you guys.
Take care. Okay, so the next item is the community center renovation, but as of right now, we have no update or guidance from the town or the Board of Selectmen, so we'll just have to,
That being said, next week is the Board of Selectmen meeting where Roger will be giving or Roger and Tom, or I'll probably go to, an update to the Board of Selectmen, because when we looked at doing it, it was like right before,
the new,
first of all, there was Thanksgiving and all that, but right before the swearing in ceremony, and then there would be a change, so we waited till after.
Yeah, we just waited.
The Board of Selectmen is in, it's basically Rich finished up and Kenny's the minority selected, so seemed to make more sense to do it.
Completely,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, one of it last week, but I think we were both away.
Oh,
I
actually,
didn't hear that.
well, yeah, I think we kind of originally said we could come, swearing in was on December 1st, the second would have been their first meeting.
Right, yeah, so,
And then we were like, maybe we should give them, it started and then we'll do it, so it's.
so the
next-
10th, which is next Tuesday.
No, it's the 16th.
Sorry, the 16th I have, yeah. So I have just so you know, I have a summary of each project going on.
Yeah,
We'll just have to tweak it because some dates have changed and but it basically stays the same.
You're gonna send that ahead of time.
Yeah, I'll send it to Mary, so that the Board of Selectmen can read it and then we'll be there just to kind of,
it's Tuesday's meeting, you said that?
Yeah, Tuesday.
yes,
That's their
the 16th.
regular, that's their next regular meeting. So it's basically to do the update, get kind of on their radar ahead of time to make sure it gets put on the agenda.
Yeah,
And then, like Roger will tweet this update to have more current information. And if there's anything that's part of any of these projects that, like if there's a budget update because the budget changed drastically or something like that, I would often bring something like that along. But we haven't had big changes in the budget, or the only budget we really have we're working with now is HVAC. So that budget's kind of, other than paying bills, and nothing's changed drastically.
like you said, Penny's here, so she might have some questions. That
Yeah, she might, if you wanted to bring a budget report, like whatever the most recent was, or ask Mark for one, you could bring that along. Yeah, so there's that. So hopefully we can ask for more guidance supposedly on the municipal center renovations.
I guess in any other projects that they see coming into 2026, right? Maybe there's other things on the horizon.
I'd like them to wait and not give us more stuff.
Not give us just
Yeah.
medical stuff.
And now is when, the department heads are starting to put their budgets together. And the budgets for their department would be different than if a department has a large capital project that's needed, and that would be what we would wanna, there's sort of department ongoing, costs and maintenance and that kind of stuff is sort of regular. But if there's larger projects and somebody's thinking, oh, I have a request for capital, they put that separately. I mean, it's part of their presentation, but they bring that up separately, and that's where we might get called in to do, if there's some large.
So you say you should have asked them.
No, I mean, you can ask, but
Yeah,
they may not know quite yet
a
because of,
couple months or something.
yeah, they may not know, until presentations, or they get through that initial phase of putting their budgets together. But yeah, if we can get something, give us a little heads up, because we have a lot to do.
So one thing in the end of the year report, which I'm not sure you were gonna include, but Roger and I have been, talking a lot about how this Save More thing. And we were gonna bring it up to the Board of Selectmen, that some sort of fines or milestones or some kind of
Well,
issue with these contracts, but that was, I had no idea what Tyler
That's right,
said.
it seems like we had that, we
We took it out of the contract, so it's not necessarily every project, but just.
Maybe it's like a performance milestone. I mean, if you're, I mean, beyond a reasonable reason or control, if you don't meet it, well, it takes some
Well,
money.
maybe the language is too strong, like how do you go from something to nothing in there, because they said they didn't get any bids, right, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what the original was, but it's hard to keep say more on track.
Yeah, which they shared that, they have no way to do that.
Right. And I looked through the contracts myself and the language is, it's like STV doesn't even have the authority to really manage the schedule. So anyway.
Okay, so, it's getting late, so the new business, I was gonna bring up, which I tabled to the end here, is, I can just pass these out, I just thought, and we can talk about more at the next meeting, and if you have any thoughts about it, I sent this out. I mean,
Yeah, so your email included, yeah.
yeah, so just take a look if you want to get involved. I just thought it'd be good that, Jeff, you may be good on following up on a few projects or
Yeah,
something,
no,
a
that's
day
good.
or something. Just so at each meeting, we may not have, because of the HVAC, project, we have all these guys, but pretty soon, we're not gonna have all this, we're gonna have maybe one or two, Jonathan or somebody. So it'd be good to maybe, if you had time during the day, Jeff, to maybe make some calls. I mean,
Yeah, my schedule
Side
is
jobs
during the day, but I know there's, after hours, plus I think we still work late on Thursdays anyway, right, so.
Yeah.
All those departments are here, but.
well, not,
Yeah.
I can share stuff to you or Tom and
Yeah.
just say, so,
Yeah, the assistant.
So he's like,
Yeah,
instead of just sitting here, and just listening.
no,
It'd be nice to have part of the action,
Yeah, no,
But also-
was that,
Being kind of like the main contact person, other than chair and vice chair.
no, like you said, I think it's a good idea that,
Yeah. I think a lot of things.
I don't know if everybody else agrees with that, but that's okay.
Well, food for thought, and we'll talk about the next meeting, but I just
Okay.
wanted to, thought that,
So just real quick, after we wrap up the HVAC project again, so next year, obviously, there's a lot going on. As far as 2 meetings a month, I mean, it's possible if we're not approving really invoices, stuff like that, then it's in the past, if you, if there's no really agenda items, you cancel it, or how does that get?
Yeah. Once you get deep into a project, though, it's quite often that you need,
Probably possibly more than that, right? It could come down to that, especially.
most of the time, not, but, or if something really needs to get done right away, you have a special meeting, and then maybe you don't need the meeting.
Yeah.
The next week.
That was just my thought, because I'm thinking as these invoices wrap up, unless some of these projects are rolling, then,
Well, the
Yeah.
new project
just
may not, they may not, we may not see anything until March.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, well, it's
The animal shelter, maybe there's some RFPs, so February, by the time you get some people March again. The highway garage, those types of things.
And that's putting something like this together, having different people be sort of like the main contact, so to speak, can say, well, we don't have any updates because they didn't get the lift in place or whatever.
Yeah,
But we do need to do the HVAC or,
yeah.
so then we know a little bit.
No, like I said, I think it's simply worth looking into trying this and then.
Yeah.
It's just, like I said, my life has been around. During the day, my time's kind of limited based on kind of what I'm doing, so.
Right.
Yeah.
But, after hours or,
Well, you don't have to, I'm just saying,
yeah, no, I think, I get on,
Yeah.
no, I think it's a good thing.
okay, all right, so anything else? Okay, I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting. Okay, all in favor? That's 8:49 PM.
Okay, so